The next thing that I want to do to kick off the discussion is we had some questions posted on YouTube for this event, so I'm going to start with one of those questions from one of the CNU students. And then I'll come around the audience if you have questions with a microphone so we can capture that. So,
hi, my name is Boyan from Christopher Newport University, and my question is, why are we trying to conserve water when 3/4 of the world is made up of water?
Okay, so I'm going to direct that question to one of my VIMS panelists.
Mark?
Okay.
That's a great question. We are the water planet rather than the land planet. However, because our bodies are largely salt water, we can't drink it directly. We've got to have fresh water. And it is possible using a process called reverse osmosis to remove all the salts. And some places do that. There's some island nations in the Caribbean that have desalinization plants, and large cruise ships use them, and Navy ships use them. But it's still a very energy-intensive process. So a lot of the fresh water on the planet's actually tied up in glaciers or in the Great Lakes system, and also in Lake Baikal in Siberia, which has 1/5 of all the world's unfrozen fresh water. So we need to exert some good stewardship on these freshwater resources because they are limited and finite.
I'd just add one point, which is that even the water that is already fresh that we're using, as you know, is continuously cycled between the atmosphere and the ground. And the biodiversity, the organisms that I mentioned before, are important in cleansing that water as it goes through forests and soils and so on. And that's one reason why maintaining some of these wild lands are important to us.
Can you hear me now? Mm-hmm. Okay. Any questions from the audience? Don't be shy.
This is to Dr. Patterson. Dr. Patterson, I live across the street from the Chesapeake Bay, and I was very interested in the plant life that you talked about. Is there a certain time of the year that we lose the plant life?
That we lose it?
Yes. Like one particular season that you see more plant life?
Yeah, the Chesapeake Bay is a very seasonal environment. In fact, it's got one of the biggest temperature swings on an annual basis of any body of water. But Dr. Duffy actually is an expert on the seagrasses and all the algae and does a lot of work on the food webs in the Chesapeake Bay, and he watches these cycles year in, year out. So you want to add to when the seagrasses come and go and algae?
Yes, actually the seagrasses are a nice example because, as you may know, these are very important nursery areas for young fish and shellfish in the bay. And the eelgrass, which is the main species, is at the southern end of its limit here. It occurs all throughout the northern hemisphere up to Iceland and so on. And in fact, this species is very much threatened by climate warming because when we have extremely warm summers, it dies out completely. It can grow back from seeds, but only if there are still seeds left there. So we often see an annual cycle where the eelgrass declines in late summer and comes back in the winter. But there's quite a bit of concern now, actually, that if we get a few more hot summers as we did in 2005, we might be losing it entirely, which would be very bad for the Chesapeake Bay.